This is Fieldsports Channel News. Gamekeepers slow global warming. Well-managed grouse moors are helping to save the ozone layer. That's the conclusion of research by the Moorland Association. Even the anti-hunting independent newspaper publishes the report, which reveals that grouse moors remove the equivalent of more than 33,000 cars worth of carbon emissions from the atmosphere every year. The report finds that moorland gamekeepers are restoring an average of nearly 8,000 acres of bare peat per year, blocking more than 1,800 miles of old agricultural drains to re-wet peat, and even planting more than 3,000 acres of trees. And it's all paid for by shooters. Chris Packham did not fake a death threat letter, according to police. The Scottish Gamekeepers Association lodged a complaint with Hampshire Constabulary last month that questioned the authenticity of a letter sent to the BBC celebrity in 2019. The SGA hired two graphologists to compare the letter with samples of Packham's handwriting found online. One said there were strong similarities, while the other found moderate similarities. Packham lashed out at the SGA on social media, calling it desperate and insisting he was obviously not the sort of bloke who writes death threats to himself. And here's another reminder that the SGA's rural workers' protest is this Friday. Ahead of the Scottish elections in May, it's calling on supporters to spread the hashtag RWP21 on social media and post photos and videos of themselves at work in their communities. The Angling Trust has slammed a study that makes claims about fish welfare. The report comes from the Conservative Animal Welfare Foundation, which includes the Prime Minister's fiancée, Carrie Simons, as a patron. In a letter to DEFRA Secretary George Eustace and Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Angling Trust Chief Executive Jamie Cook asked the government to distance itself from the report, which says fish are sentient beings and should be included in animal welfare legislation. Cook calls the report a biased and flawed piece of ideological-driven nonsense. Angling Trust Head of Policy Martin Salter says it's unusual for a report linked to the Tories to be so anti-angling.
I would dismiss this stuff. I wouldn't take any notice of it if it wasn't so well connected and so locked into the Conservative Party. We've spoken to a number of Conservative MPs who are great supporters of the Angling Trust, great supporters of angling, and they're just as bemused as we are. So the sooner that Downing Street and that George Eustace, the Environment Secretary, distances himself from this anti-angling nonsense, the quicker we can go back to enjoying great cross-party relationships, promoting the wonderful sport of angling.
An area where a critically endangered fish lays its eggs has been given protected status. The Scottish Government has declared part of Skye's Inner Sound, home to breeding flapper skate, a marine protected area, meaning activities like fishing, diving and construction are banned. The MPA designation will be in place for 12 months but could be extended. Our Seas Coalition, which supports sustainable fishing, says the ban would cause problems for creel fishing, which has less impact on the seabed than trawling. Fishermen and divers are angry, as they are the ones who discovered the fish nursery in the first place, helped protect it, and now they're being banned from the area. If your dog hasn't been enthusiastic about vegan dog food, there's a new game alternative. Dog food manufacturer Hoddies has released a new formula made from wild British pheasants with 100% natural ingredients. Pheasants make up a quarter of the recipe, while 30% is protein. The company says the formula is designed for active dogs. The Crown Prosecution Service has dropped 2 cases of illegal hunting after hunting SABs failed to produce evidence. William Bishop of the Crawley and Horsham hunt was found not guilty of 2 charges of illegal hunting in December 2019 and January 2020. Hunt SABs who accused the huntsman of hunting foxes couldn't prove it at Worthing Magistrates Court. So District Judge Kelly accepted the prosecution's offer of no evidence in one case and upheld the submission of no case to answer in the other. The taxpayer will pay all the costs of the cases. The Countryside Alliance questions how they got to court. At the same time, police have dropped their investigation into an alleged assault on hunt SABs by East Essex huntsman Gary Thorpe. Police have reunited a spaniel with its owner after a pursuit involving armed officers. Thieves took Lupin, the Springer Spaniel, from a farm in Leicestershire last week. The dog was discovered after a vehicle suspected to have been involved in the abduction was tracked and intercepted following a police pursuit. It failed to stop for armed officers in Lincolnshire, which prompted a chase through Newark before they abandoned both their vehicle and loop-in Nottinghamshire. The county's police force, which is leading inquiries into finding the thieves, recently appointed a specialist stolen dog officer. A golden eagle that was missing for 8 days has been found. Owner John Nugent found his 12-year-old bird called Cailin a kilometre from where it flew away in County Wicklow, Ireland. John told Irish media the eagle was caught in a tree. He says it jumped straight up onto his hand when it was freed. Cailin lost nearly half a kilo in weight since it disappeared. Wolves are officially back in the Netherlands, according to a Facebook post. US organisation Living with Wolves posted a video it says was filmed in Holland of a wolf crossing a road. The animals were hunted to extinction in the Netherlands 200 years ago. They have been reintroduced into parts of Europe to the anger of farmers whose livestock have been massacred as a result, and now they seem to have spread to surrounding countries. Reports in Poland suggest the animals are losing their fear of humans, and according to Gloucestershire Live website, they've reached Britain. The online newspaper says a lorry driver spotted a wolf crossing the M5 between junctions 12 and 13 at about 4 a.m. one day in January. Someone has made off with more than 800 stuffed animals in Belgium. A company called the Maasai Gallery, which specialises in the sale of stuffed animals sourced from zoos and circuses, reports it's one of its employees that has pinched much of its stock. Managing Director Christian Pollis reckons his company has lost €3.5 million worth of skins and heads. He says the unnamed employee unloaded the trophies cheaply, charging just €7,000 for a stuffed lion or a tiger that would normally sell for €35,000. An American hunter is paying the price of a house to shoot a possible record-breaking mule deer. Idaho hunter Dennis Osted already has one world hunting record by taking the biggest Rocky Mountain bull elk ever recorded by the Boone and Crockett Club. His new record is bidding $310,000 for the right to hunt a buck mule deer on Antelope Island in Utah this summer. The auction took place at the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo in Salt Lake City. 90% of the money will go to the managers at Antelope Island State Park to be used on habitat and conservation work to benefit mule deer and other species on the island. The remaining 10% stays with the Mule Deer Foundation, a Utah-based non-profit organisation with the mission to restore, improve and protect mule deer, black-tailed deer and their habitat. And finally, what a way to go. Funeral director Jonathan Howell has carried out the request of one of his late clients, a keen shooter who asked for his ashes to be loaded into a shotgun shell to be fired by his friends as they drank a nice bottle of brandy. Cheers. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.